Hello guys, welcome to i-tutor Academy. In today's session, we will start with the unit 10 and the subsession 10.5, a suggested training system. After identifying the training needs, the next step is to design and organize training programs. In large companies, it is possible for the training department to organize several in-company training programs. For designing the training program on the basis of the training needs, the following points may be kept in view. The first one is wherever there are sizable number of people having the same training needs, it is advisable to organize an in-company program. The organization can save a lot of cost. Besides, by having the group of people from the same workplace, mutuality can be inculcated. The probability of the trainees actually applying what they have learned is high because of high group support. And second is whenever new system have to be introduced, training is needed to develop competencies needed to run the system. And the third point is it is better to aim at in-company programs for technical skills wherever possible and outside programs for managerial and behavioral development. And fourth one is people performing responsible roles in the organization should be encouraged to go out periodically for training where they would have more opportunities to interact with the executives of other organizations and get ideas as well as stimulate their own thinking. The training department should play a dynamic role in monitoring the training activities. It should continuously assess the impact of training and help the trainees in practicing whatever they have learned. And the sixth one is whenever an individual is sponsored for training, he should be told categorically the reasons for sponsoring him and the expectations of the organization from him after he returned from the program. Most companies do not inform the employee why they have been sponsored. Such a practice reduces learning as the employee sponsored are more concerned about the reasons for being sponsored than actually getting involved in and benefiting from the training. And next is evaluation of training. Many organizations, especially industries, have been concerned with the difficult but critical question of evaluation. Training managers or organizations are also concerned with this question. All books on training have dealt with this issue, but no satisfactory and comprehensive accounts of evaluation are available. For the preparation of a comprehensive conceptual framework of training evaluation and an effective strategy of evaluating training programs and system, it is necessary to consider several aspects of evaluation. The basic question in this regard relate to the value of evaluation. Why evaluate training? Hamblin has discussed this question very well, that evaluation helps in providing feedback for improvement. That is a better control of training. When we discuss feedback and improvement, two relevant questions are raised: feedback to whom and improvement of what. The former question relate to the main client group and the latter to the main dimensions and specific areas of evaluation. Two additional questions are: how should evaluation to be done and what specific way should be adopted for it? These questions relate to the design and technique of evaluation respectively. First one is main client. There are several partners in the training act and process, and all of them are the client of evaluation. Their needs for feedback and use of feedback for improvement will naturally be different with some overlapping. There are four main partners in training. That is participants or learners, that is for P, and the training organization or institute, that is for I, it including the institute, including the curriculum planners, program designers, program managers are under this training organization or institute. And third one is the faculty of facilitators or trainers, that is represent F. And the fourth one is the client organization, the ultimate user and financier of training. And literature on training evaluation has not paid due attention to this respect. And second is dimension of evaluation. Attention has been given to the main dimension of training, and most of the suggested models are based on this. Four main dimensions have usually been suggested: context, input, output, and reaction. The last dimension is not in the same category as the other three. Reaction evaluation can be of contextual factors, training inputs, and outcomes of training. In all discussions of training evaluation, the most neglected aspect has been the training process, which cannot be covered by training input. The climate of the training organization, the relationship between participants and trainers, the general attitude and approaches of the trainers, training methods, etc., are very important aspect determines the effectiveness of training. And next is area of evaluation. The various areas of training evaluation need more attention and elaboration. Seven main areas with some sub areas under which each are suggested for consideration. So these are the areas. There is one column here, coverage of evaluation in your material, and the first column represent the area of evaluation, and second is dimension. Okay, first one is pre-training factor. Under pre-training factor, there is preparation, learning, motivation, expectations are there. And second is training. Under training, there is curriculum including and specific events are there, specific sessions are there. And third is training management. Under training management, areas of satisfaction or dissatisfaction, training facilities, other facilities are there. And fourth is training, learning climate, training method, and trainer team effectiveness. And fifth is participant development. The participant developments include conceptual development, learning of skills, change in values or attitudes, change of behavior, and applications are there. And sixth is organizational development. And organizational development, job effectiveness, team effectiveness, organizational effectiveness are there. And seventh is post training factors. In post training factors, cost, organizational support, organizational factors hindering or facilitating use of training. Effectiveness of training depends on the synergic relationship and collaborative working amongst the four major partners of training. Hence, the evaluation should provide the necessary feedback to these four, contributing to training effectiveness. Training effectiveness depends not only on what happens during training but also on what happens before the actual training and what happens after the training has formally ended. And third one is various aspects of training process that are not direct training input, and its evaluation should therefore also focus on these factors. And the focus or the main task of evaluation should not only be in the nature of auditing and but also should also be diagnostic and remedial. And design of evaluation, the overall design of evaluation helps in planning the evaluation strategy in advance. Evaluation designs can be classified in various ways. Two important dimensions, however, are the time when evaluation is done and the group or groups involved in evaluation. Data on relevant aspect may either be collected only once after the training is over or on two occasions before training intervention and later again after the training is over. In ex post facto design, data are collected from the group which has been exposed to training only after the training is over. Obviously, this design has inherent limitation in drawing in conclusion from evaluation. But in many practical situations, this is reality and is a challenge for evaluation designers to devise ways of extraction the most in such a design. Comparative survey design may involve collection of data from many other groups in addition to the group exposed of training. In this design also there is no control and there are limitations in drawing conclusion. The design with a great deal of control and sophistication is matched group design. And enough literature on this design is available. Hamblin has referred to some of these but not in the systematic way. And the next is evaluation techniques. These can be classified in various ways. One way to classify them into response, that is reactive technique, and techniques requiring some kind of response produce some reaction in those who are responding. The very act of asking people question, that is orally or in a written form, may produce change. Since they produce reaction, they are called response or reactive techniques. And another non-reactive technique, a very old one, is that of observation. Observation can also become a reactive technique if person being observed know that they are being observed. The method of data collection for response or reaction techniques may include interviews, written reactions, that is questionnaire, scales, open-ended forms, and projective techniques. One additional method in this category worth mentioning is group discussion and consensus report. And advances in scaling technique have made the greatest contribution to the development of evaluation techniques. The techniques based on well prepared instrument to measure various dimensions are being increasingly used. Hamlin has done an excellent job in discussing that studies in training evaluation to illustrate the techniques used. His book will be found very useful for this. While has also cited some studies but has not been able to integrate them. Reaction scale, reactions notebooks, and participation observers record studies of inter-trainee relationship, end of course reaction form, post reaction questionnaire, and interviews and expectations evaluation. Next is learning. The pre-course questionnaire to instructors, program instructions, objective test, essay type, written or oral examination, assessment by trainees of knowledge, changes, skill and task analysis, and standardized test of skill, tailor-made technique for evaluating skill, assessment by trainees of skill change, standardized attitude questionnaire, tailor-made attitude questionnaires, semantic and differential scales, and group feedback analysis. And job behavior, activity sampling, that is Cisco, SISCO, and Widenius technique, the spelling is WIRDENIUS, and observers diaries, self diaries with the interview and questionnaires, appraisal and self-appraisal, critical incident technique, observation of specific incident depth, interview and questionnaire, open-ended depth technique, and prescription for involving management in the training process. And next is organization, index of productivity, labor turnover, etc. Studies of organizational climate, use of job behavioral objective to study behavior of non-trainee and workflow studies, and ultimate value, cost benefit analysis, and human resource accounting. And illustration of systematic evaluation. A good example of systematic evaluation is available from a study of the State Bank Staff College. That is in this column in your study materials. You can go through this illustration of systematic evaluation process and sample here. Okay, next is retraining. Retraining programs are designed as a means of avoiding personal obsolescence, and it is tendency of the individual worker to become outdated in terms of job requirement. This is true of employee at every in the organization. However, training is focused on rank and file workers. This is so because their number is large and technological change makes it is immediate impact on those who work closer to technological resources. Besides, they are less equipped to foresee their personal needs, and because they require more assistance in advanced planning than do others. Workers require refresher courses to help them recall what they have forgotten and to overcome some practice they have come to accept as satisfactory. They also need to bring them with respect to relevant new knowledge and skill. The need for training also arises as a result of technological changes, resulting in changes in equipment, tool, and work method. So, this is about today's section. And the next session of 10.8, some issues in training, we will discuss on next video onwards. If you have any doubts, you can contact our contact number also. Otherwise, you can comment it on our comment box also. Thank you so much.